Project 4.3 Data Patterns, Capstone Update. Bayesian's theorem, cost of data. Fox and Hound English Pub is being rebranded into Craft Public Bar and Grill, and tomorrow is the grand reopening of the restaurant. 90% of restaurants that are still operating past the 5-year mark will stay in business for a minimum of 10 years. Fortunately, the new restaurant was rebranded over a brand that has been open for operation for 20 years at this previous location. With this knowledge in mind, the company over Craft Republic predicts 5 incorrect predictions out of 365 restaurant forecastings each year. They're forecasting at a 90% success rate when predicting the life cycle of their restaurant operations for their concepts. There is a 10% chance that their predictions will be wrong. The probability that Craft Republic Bar and Grill will stay open for 10 years. Probabilities. Event A1, it will stay open for 10 years. Event A2, it does not remain open for 10 years. Event B, the company predictions are correct. In terms of probability, we know the following. 5 out of 365 restaurant predictions are not successful. When calculating the probability of event A1, I multiplied 90% times 4, and I received 0.36. 90% of the operations 90% of restaurants that operate past the 5-year mark will stay in business for a minimum of 10 years. The probability of A2, I calculated by dividing 360 by 365, and I got 0.98, and for rounding, 0.99. Only 360 restaurant predictions are correct out of 365. The probability that the company's predictions are correct over event A is 0.9. They're forecasting a 90% success rate when predicting the life cycle of their restaurant operations concepts. And the probability that event B over event A2 is 0.1. They're forecasting a 10% failure rate when predicting the lifespan of their restaurant operations concepts. We want to know the probability that event A1 and the company success rate, the probability that the Craft Public Bar and Grill will be open for 10 years. Given that the company's forecasting suggests that the predictions will be successful, the answers can be determined by using Bayesian's theorem, as shown below. The company predicts a successful project, but there is only a 49% chance that the Craft Republic will be in operation for 10 years. Despite the odds being in their favor, there is a good chance that the Craft Republic Bar and Grill will not be a successful venture for the long term. Cost of data. I provided a table that categorizes the events, the prior probabilities, conditional, as well as the probability, 50-50 chance that the data can be attained and it won't be attained, and the combined probability. Cost of data would be 22.5% of the value of data as a whole and how it is translated in value for the company. But before calculating the value of data, there is some required inputs that need to be accounted for, such as theoretical value, which can be approximated between 20 and 60% of the entire venture value, the entire value of the company. Depreciation of the value of the data is also another factor. Restaurants, owners, operators typically remodel, renovate, or replace their stores every 6 to 8 years. This can add value to the company, but ultimately all of their efforts will no longer be worth the initial value after they are purchased. Value of data. Maintaining full data governance can stabilize the assets for a company, while not doing so can lead to depreciation of assets. You can also analyze the maturity of data to show the utilization of value of informational assets. I have provided an example of analyzing maturity data in the second table below. Data patterns. With technological advances, most restaurants have access to huge amounts of real-time data from a multitude of systems. With the right strategic approach and process in place, this data can be for to used to reveal many insights into every aspect of a restaurant's business. These data variables are subject to the most change in the restaurant industry. Inventory data, financial data, kitchen data, guest data, customer data, and social media data. Data trends. When coming up with a menu option, it is imperative that a restaurant knows the ingredients of each dish with quality what quantities are required in order to prepare a dish, and thereby the probability each dish collecting data around inventory enables restaurants to keep track of profits, margins, and hence have the ability to push more profitable items, keep costs low by ordering required amounts as is and when needed, minimize waste. The viability of a business depends on the ability to sustain financial stability of a restaurant to keep track of profits and loss, costs, cash flow, and cost all that falls within the financial data collections and insight parts. Data trends. How efficient is your kitchen staff? What is the turnaround time for a dish to be cooked? Are there any patterns that you can see from the kitchen? Some of the data points you need to be looking at include: it is important to have a correct estimate of cook time on how long it takes a menu item to go from the initial order stage to completion. You will need to calculate and track the difference in cooking time of two food items on the same order to ensure the food is fresh and at the right temperature when it arrives at the customer's table. Every successful restaurant order owners have an accurate measure of time it takes an order that has been prepared to leave the kitchen and reach the table. To improve efficiency and customer service, a restaurant needs to keep track of data on guest management. Most businesses collect some data on the customers. Most of them have basic contact information like a name and a means to contact via email, phone number, or street address. However, it is equally important to have guest-specific data, food allergies, their favorite dishes for their purchase history, and their birthdays or anniversaries, at least for your regular customers. Although there is a lot of varied opinions on the importance of social media for your restaurant business, it can be argued that you would miss out on large segment of your potential audience if you totally ignore your social media presence. Most of your current and potential customers spend a significant part of their day interacting on social media platforms. It becomes pertinent to harness this valuable resource to understand how your targeted audience perceives your brand and engage with potential customers. Data clustering and correlations. Though not often used in hospitality research, factor factor cluster analysis can be useful to segment diners based on behavioral intentions and attributes, allowing marketers to more accurately target these diverse consumers segment. The study stated that marketing implications for casual dining restaurants are suggested. The study that I am using groups respondents through factor cluster analysis. Factor analysis offers a segmentation strategy designed to subdivide marketing groups in terms of behavioral intentions. The use of factor cluster analysis allows for marketers to group customers based on behavioral intentions and motives rather than solely on geographic and other studies that have that I've researched that I've done that also done so. Additionally, factor cluster analysis has advantages over segmenting customers using involvement constructs because it takes into consideration elements other than just how engaged an individual is while dining. Data association. This study took place on a college campus and utilizes a convenient sampling method. Although significant findings were identified throughout the study, limitations should be considered. Due to time limitations and success, a convenience sample was utilized with no attempt to sample randomly. Additionally, diners on campus restaurants may be different from off campus restaurants, both demographically and behaviorally. Further studies should attempt measuring casual dining restaurant patrons' behaviors from multiple dining locations, as well as increasing the sample size to increase researchers' confidence in findings. This will also allow for the ability to generalize findings to a wider population. This table groups diners into gender, age, race, level of education, and student status. They also are categorized into different different classes that allows them to fall into each category. Spatial, temporal, or coincidental. Spatial correlation is a measure that looks at the relationship between closed spatial units. A more technical definition is the following by Herbert et al., 1981, page 224. Given a set A containing n geographical units, it refers to the relationship between some variables observed each of the n locations and measures of geographical proximity defined for all n open parentheses n minus 1 close parentheses pairs chosen from S. When does spatial analysis itself often the case that there are independent variables? Network analysis. It is helpful to distinguish between three uses of networks before network analysis can begin: a theoretical tools as theoretical tools, as measurement tools, and as inferential tools. Network analysis allows researchers to develop a better understanding of the dynamic and structural geography of the complex web of independencies at work and the onset, in, incidence, and diffusion of conflict and peace. The process of network mapping is essential for optimizing managing multiple organization departments. This allows for a proactive approach when management dealing with time-sensitive issues, and without it, the organization will only be able to react. Eventually, this will cause all work efforts to slow but surely be failed and not if not addressed for the long term. This is what is currently going on with my working company. Optimization. The restaurant industry's biggest gainers were not restaurants. This was the biggest trend that emerged from the restaurant industry. Third-party delivery service collected $5 billion in sales during the first 6 months of 2018. This is 55% increase over 2017. MailMagazine.com estimates that the digital food delivery market will be worth $22 billion by 2025. Grubhub and Uber Eats collectively finished as the industry's third largest operations ranked by sales. The major players include Grubhub, Caviar, Uber Eats, Postmates, and DoorDash. Risk reduction. Risk is predictively is unpredictable, but if you place a infrastructure around the unpredictability, then you almost remove the risk from the possibility. This means you can subsequently have a solution for any problem that can arise and make adjustments for even the least likely scenario. By identifying and managing a comprehensive list of risks to production, unexpected surprises and barriers can be reduced and opportunities. Risk management processes also help to resolve problems when they occur. When Problems have been accounted for and plans to remedy them have already been developed and agreed upon. This will save time and money. Impulsive reactions are avoided, causing effective plans of action to be implemented for more proactive, less reactive approach to likely unlikely situations. This makes for happier and less stressed employees and stakeholders. Trend analysis. I did an analysis on the medium income target of delivery service. This is the income that they are targeting for their customers, and the purple line indicates the United States 2016 average income level. Grubhub reported 5.1 billion in food sales in 2018, a 34% increase from prior year, and has grown to 17.7 million customers. Uber Eats said it expects to deliver $10 billion worth of food in 36 countries this year, up from $6 billion in 2018. According to the National Restaurant Association, 3 in 5 U.S. consumers orders delivery or takeout at least once a week. Expansion analysis. Expanding into a new untapped market will always be a great opportunity for any business, but the way you approach will always be the most important task that determines the success of the expansion. For the restaurant industry in the United States, delivery has been taking over for the last few years, with the third-party vendors making most of the profit and leaving restaurants with decreased profit margins. By expanding in the aptitude for the delivery service, Craft Republic Bar and Grill LLC can meet the growing trend and offer catering service as well as expand on current third-party delivery service to locations with lower profit margins to make the difference between meeting sales goals. Expanding into the catering delivery service will provide opportunities to build on working relationships with local businesses and create sales. Delivery as a share of restaurant sales is showing a steady increase over the next 3 years. Based on my analysis, if the company decides to expand internationally instead of investing into the delivery service industry, I would recommend South America as a new country. My recommendation is based on the following factors: political concerns. The positive economic reform of their president has turned around the Argentine economy, which is expected to grow at a rate of 3.2% in 2018. U.S. brands are highly desired in states like Argentina, and this is the good news for Kraft. Climate issues. Part of South America are hot and dry, including temperatures that are 5 to 8 degrees above average. In Argentina, the worst of its weather is dry heat. Potential threats of terrorism. As Islamic terrorism grows worldwide, Latin America must improve its strategic information sharing systems on security and knowledge and acknowledge that a region is a potential target. I do believe that this could be a potential red flag, but this is where appropriate risk management comes into play.